you want to break your Word document into several sections, we can easily do this in Microsoft Word. And dividing in sections simply means that each of the document or each of the part that is divided in the section work as a separate, you can say a separate document. Why? Because everything can be applied separately on that document after the section break. For example, if you want to change the page orientation, everything can be divided between the document. So until now, we believe that whatever changes we make in the document, let's say we insert a header, it will be applied throughout the document. And same thing goes for the page orientation, right? But that's not the case. We can enable a section break. Let me show you how. So for example, this is the first page of the document. I will go to the bottom and let's enable this non-printing characters. And after enabling that, let's go to the layout. And from here, we will apply a break. Now we can apply a page break or a section break. And in section break, we have multiple choices. We can either continue from this area onwards, or we can continue on the next page or even page or odd page, whatever. So it depends on your particular scenario, but just for the understanding, we will select this, that the section break starts from the next page. Now let's see the magic of it. So let's hit an additional enter and then select this next page. So as we can see that the section break is now implemented. Now if we turn this off, and now if we, let's say, try to change the page orientation, what we can do is we can change the orientation, and let's say we keep the cursor here and we change the orientation to landscape. So what happens is, since we have applied a section break first, it won't be applied to the first page, rather it's applied to other pages only. And same thing goes for the first one. Let's say if we keep the selection on the first page and we make this orientation as landscape, the other pages should not change. So as we can see, although the text doesn't fit in, that's why it's moved up to the second page. Otherwise, the rest of the pages you can see are still in horizontal sequence. Let's just reduce the space a little bit so that I can show you again. So now it's on one page, right? So let's go to the layout page and change the orientation back to portrait. And now let's say the document looks something like this. And let's say what we have done is we want to divide it into two sections. So let's press Ctrl Enter to move the rest of the paragraphs to the second page. And now let's try to change the layout. Let's say we are on the first page and we want to change the layout and orientation to landscape. Now, as we can see that the first page is turned to landscape, but others didn't. Now just keep in mind that this settings of the section break will only work in the page orientation. Other settings, it won't work in headers and footers. It will repeat itself. So for that, if we, let's say, insert here, you need to unlink that with other pages or manually have to change the pages if you want the different headers to appear on rest of the pages. Now we will see that if you want to divide one particular document or a section of the page into two columns, we can easily do this in Word. So for that, if we want to apply it throughout the document, we need to make sure that we enable the non-printing characters first and delete all the section breaks or the page breaks. Otherwise, it will not apply to the whole document. Or let's say that if you want to only format or divide into two columns for this section only. So we have already applied the section break. What we will do now is just select the whole page and just go to the layout and divide it into columns. Right now it's one column. We will change it into two. And we can see that now it is divided in two columns. And since we have applied the section break, it won't affect the second page. Now you might have noticed that it is not continuing the text on a single page, and that might cause some confusion. So for that purpose, you can use this change hyphenation format and select automatic. What it will do is it will automatically try to complete a sentence within a particular area. Before it was like that, it is continuing the sentence here. But now if I change it back to automatic, it will try its best to adjust it in a particular area like this. Now let's try that. Even if we applied the section breaks, when we select Ctrl A, does it select the whole document? Yes, it does. And now if we try to select it into, let's say 2, and hyphenation should be set to automatic, how it looks. So it has done the same thing throughout the document. So it depends on the area you select. And now if I want to configure it further, we can select more columns here. And here you can make the customized settings, how you want the columns to be shown and what should be the spacing between the two. All of these settings can be made. Now let's say that if we want to show only one area in first column and then the other one should move to the other column, what we can do is we will select the cursor here, we will keep the cursor here and just use this one, break the column, select this one, and we can notice that now it shifted to the other portion. We can also see it here. When we zoom it, it will show you this indication, which is very easy to understand with the picture, that the content on your left will move on the other column. So indicate that the text following the column break will begin to the next column. So something like that. You can try around all of these options. These are amazing and you might need it in different scenarios. And this is also indicated whenever you apply any kind of break. We can check that in the non-printing characters by enabling it from the home page, and we can see here that the column break is applied. So whatever you apply here will be shown in the non-printing characters. So that's it guys. This is how you can turn the documents or the portion of the documents into different columns. Just try it by yourself and I will see you in the next one.